Hello everybody, my name is Mackenzie and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. Today I have a little bit of a more straightforward video for you because I'm just going to be reviewing a book that I recently finished called A Secret Vice, Tolkien on Invented Languages. And as the title would imply, this book, it was by J.R.R. Tolkien, and it was edited by Demetra Fimi and Andrew Higgins. So I just wanted to show you the cover of this book because I really like it. It's actually a really pretty cover, and it's kind of shiny, so I like that. And it has actually the Tolkien's languages right on the cover, so that's super cool. And then on the back it has it as well. In this video there's probably going to be linguistic vocabulary. I'll try to explain it as best I can, and I hope it's not too confusing. This book is actually a combination of two writings that Tolkien did. One was called A Secret Vice, and this was actually a speech that he gave to the Johnson Society in Oxford about invented languages and what he was really making sure that he put into his languages that he was creating, what he was looking for, and what was important to him as he was inventing his languages. And the second writing, which was actually discovered as the editors were going through all of the manuscripts for A Secret Vice, so it's super cool that it's in this book, is an essay on phonetic symbolism, and I'll get a little bit into what that means a little bit later. This book was comprised of 3 sections. We had our introduction by the editors, A Secret Vice, and last we had the essay on phonetic symbolism. If you see me looking down at all, it's because I wrote down some notes and I want to make sure I get everything in there that I wanted to talk about for this book. The first part was the introduction by the editor. It was a very long introduction, but it was super interesting because it gave a lot of information on Tolkien's background in languages, and it gave a little bit of an explanation to the speech that comes after. This introduction also talked about Tolkien's inspirations for his languages as well. Tolkien invented about 20 languages for Middle-earth, and some of them were fully formed languages with grammars, a very expansive vocabulary, and some he had made a little sketch of, and then some were just in the books by name, so that he didn't actually develop anything with those languages. Overall, there were about 20 languages that he even thought of. What I think is so cool about Tolkien is that he didn't write his stories first and then create the languages for the world. He started with his languages and felt that he needed to create a place where his languages were spoken, and he needed to create a history in which the languages could develop. He felt that language and myth, you couldn't have one without the other. The main thing that Tolkien addressed in A Secret Vice was the 4 main things that he felt were important when creating languages. So the first thing that he was very interested in was just the sound of languages, and this was something that drew him to languages, was the sound. He loved listening to the different sounds that languages made, and so when he created his own languages, he wanted to make sure that these languages sounded beautiful to him. So the 2 main languages for the elves that Tolkien invented were Quenya and Sindarin, and these 2 languages were based on Finnish and Welsh respectively. So you'll see many similarities between Finnish and Quenya and between Welsh and Sindarin in their sound system and even in some of their grammatical aspects. He also thought that the words that you created and the sounds that you used to make those words should in some ways represent the thing that you're describing. We have sounds that make us generally think of a specific thing, so like we have the sound E, which can make us think of something small. So he felt that it was important that the sounds of the words matched what he was describing. It's a little bit of a confusing subject, but it's all about phonetic symbolism, which was the second essay that I was telling you about. And thirdly, he believed that languages should have elaborate grammars, and that's exactly what he did with his language inventing. Sindarin and Quenya have very deep grammars that are very intricate and just like real languages. And last, he believed that there should be a history to go with the languages, and there should be a logical change with the language, just like there is in real languages. So there needs to be a gradual process by which the language came to its current state. So that's why he created his whole history with the Silmarillion and the Lord of the Rings and all of that, was because he wanted to make sure that his languages had a place where they could evolve and change with the changing times in Middle Earth. The essay on phonetic symbolism goes into a little bit more depth on that concept that I was telling you about, how there should be a connection between our idea in our mind and the sound that we make. So for example, teeny kind of has a feel of something small. Maybe it's the sound it makes is kind of a quiet sound. He felt that that was a very important aspect of language learning and the understanding of language. This was a really interesting book. It's kind of technical with a lot of linguistics terminology, but it's a super interesting book if you're interested in how Tolkien got into his language creating and what made him create languages the way he did and what were his inspirations. So yeah, it was definitely a good read, and I will see you again for another video. Bye!